The Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Registration for the 7th round of Sultan Qaboos Award for Culture, Arts and Literature opened. The second edition of Government Competency Program is concluded. The Conference on Law and Economic and Social Transformation discusses the Sultanate's adherence to international conventions. And prior to the National Special Strategy projects, a number of workshops discuss opportunities and challenges of urban development in the Sultanate. Thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos sent a cabal of condolences to His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Emir of Kuwait, on the death of Sheikh Fadl Daij Al Salman Al Sabah. His Majesty the Sultan sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency Milo Đukanović, President of the Republic of Black Mountain, on the occasion of winning the presidential elections. Sultan Qaboos Higher Center for Culture and Science has announced the opening of registrations and candidate for the 7th round of Sultan Qaboos Award for Culture, Arts and Literature. This round is specified for Omanis, where the competitions will be in the fields of non-tangible cultural heritage studies in the branch of culture and field of short films in the arts branch, while public poetry will be included in the literature branch. The award aims to support culture, arts and literature fields, considered them as main way for enhancing civilized and human progress, in addition to contribute to in the movement of scientific development and intellectual enrichment. With the participation of 42 officials from the government sector, the second edition of Government Competency Program concluded today after 6 months of active programs and different scientific experiments. The concluding ceremony is held under the auspices of His Highness Sheikh Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, His Majesty the Sultan's advisor. The Government Competency Program is organized by the Minister of Civil Service in cooperation with the Institute of Public Administration and private sector's company specialized in human resources development. The program is considered a specialist program, aims to enhance capabilities of the participants from Director General, their assistants and persons of similar status in the country administrative apparatus units. It focused on strategic planning methods, development personal characteristics and scientific knowledge, studying and discussing the best international practices in administration and ways to benefit from renewable technologies. The Syrian Negotiations Commissions of the National Coalition for Syrian Revolutionary and Opposition Forces praised the Sultanate's role to find a political solution for the Syrian crisis. Nasser al-Hariri, the head of the commission, who met His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, the minister responsible for foreign affairs, explained that the Sultanate's position is balanced because of its good relations with all parties, adding that they agreed to continue the efforts to find a political solution as soon as possible. He also said that his visit to the Sultanate came within the framework of the efforts exerted by the Syrian revolutionary and opposition forces to build good relations with all active parties. The Conference on Law and Economic and Social Transformations was held in Sultan Qaboos University under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Minister of Justice. It focused on the reflection of international treaties and agreements on the foreign invest in the Sultanate, as well as the influence of governance of Oman, Vision 2040 and its preparedness for the development process on all arenas. During the discussion sessions, the experts stressed on the Sultanate's obligation towards the international treaties and agreements, especially in fields of broad trade and investment. It also reviewed the role of law in protections of environment and natural wealth in the country, as well as the role of international organizations in the development of legislative aspects and settlements of disputes in economic field. The Supreme Council for Planning organized the National Special Priorities Workshop as part of the National Special Strategy Project. The two-day event witnessed the participation of government agencies, private sector, entrepreneurs, researchers and academics in the field of urban development. More details in the following report by Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
Discussing the urban situation in the Sultanate and the challenges facing urban development and the aspirations of sectors and entities involved were among the chief aims of the National Spatial Priorities Workshop.
This will bring about a fantastic change to the methodology in which we plan our cities, plan our future urban centers, our future transport and economic strategies.
The discussion sessions included various aspects of the project and key issues such as development, environment, food security, natural resources management, transport and economy from a spatial perspective.
This is about the future of the spatial future of Oman. And we know there's a lot of urban sprawl and we need a more identified developments to make it more effective and efficient for the future, more higher spatial quality. Also, we have to look forward to big trends in the world, climate change. What would be the impact of climate change on the long term, and what kind of actions do we have to take in the short term?
The workshop also aims to develop a set of national priorities for the national urban development that will contribute to building development scenarios and alternatives in the Sultanate before being evaluated and tested in preparation for presentation at a national workshop in the third quarter of this year with a wider participation of stakeholders. For the Sultanate of Oman Television English News, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Indeed, you're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and later to come in our news bulletin. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Wealth conducts a number of scientific studies and researches to strengthen sustainability of lobster designated fishing areas. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Syrian government forces used warplanes, helicopters and artillery today to pound districts of the capital held by the Daesh group in a bid to enforce an evacuation deal reached with the militants earlier in the week. The militants agreed to give up their last pocket in southern Damascus on Friday, but have yet to begin surrendering to government forces and relocating to Daesh-held areas elsewhere in the country. Hundreds of Daesh fighters and allied militants are holed up in Hajar al-Aswad and the nearby Yarmouk Palestinian refugee camp. President Bashar al-Assad has accelerated his military campaign to retake all remaining enclaves in the capital and surrounding areas. The Daesh-held areas in southern Damascus are the last holdouts after rebels evacuated the eastern Ghouta suburbs following forced government offensive and an alleged poison gas attack in the town of Douma. Afghan officials said the toll from a suicide bombing in Kabul that targeted a voter registration center has climbed to at least 31 killed and 54 wounded. The Taliban denied involvement in the attack, which indicates it may have been carried out by Daesh group affiliate. Afghanistan will hold parliamentary elections in October. China and India's foreign ministers met in Beijing today and announced that Chinese President Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold an informal meeting in central China's city of Wuhan on April 27 and 28. Sushma Swaraj held bilateral talks with her Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in preparation for the leaders' meeting. Swaraj said at a joint press briefing after the talks that the two leaders will exchange views on bilateral ties and international issues from global and long-term perspectives. Swaraj said that the two sides also emphasized the importance of maintaining peace and tranquility on the border between the two nations. Swaraj is scheduled to take part in the foreign ministers' meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization on April 24th. At least 17 people were killed after two dragon boats capsized in southern China. The boats were practicing for a race in the Tonghua River in the city of Guilin when the accident happened. The fire department said that search efforts ended at 17 people had been confirmed dead. A total of 60 people fell into the water. 8 boats and over 200 people had been deployed to the rescue. 2 organizers of the practice from the village of Danmu were detained. China had sought to step up safety surrounding nationwide dragon boat racing during the Dunhuang festival, which falls near the summer solstice and commemorates the death of the poet and minister Qu Yuan in the 3rd century BC. A fire broke out today at a prominent skyscraper in Dubai, sending smoke billowing from its roof and those inside fleeing into the streets. An AP journalist reported smoke rising from the tip of the Almas Tower in Dubai's Jumeirah Lake Towers neighborhood. Dubai Civil Defense fire trucks were dispatched to the area. Dubai passed new fire safety rules last year requiring buildings with quick burning side paneling to replace it with more fire-resistant cladding. The Almas Tower, over 60 stories tall, is home to the Dubai Multi-Commodities Center, which is also an economic free zone. And now for the local news. The Ministry of Manpower and Oman Telecommunications Company Omantel signed an agreement to train 100 job seekers in the field of mobile phone maintenance. It came within the framework of empowerment of Omani youth as well as develop their skills to make them capable in the labor market. The training program was prepared after a deep study of the Omani labor markets as well as identifying requirements to keep up with the modern technologies in the smartphones field. It came within the keenness of the Ministry of Manpower towards the private sector initiatives that support the efforts exerted to qualify national cadres, provide job opportunities, and embody the principle of partnership between public and private sectors. The number of patents applications which were received by the Minister of Commerce and Industry in the first 3 months of the current year reached 77 applications according to the latest official statistics. The ministry also indicated that the number of the trademarks, national and international patents and copyright reached to 2,776 applications. Wealth of lobster witnessed a sharp decline in the annual production during the last year, which called the body's concern to conduct scientific studies in order to find solutions for these phenomena. According to the statistics issued by the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Wealth, the annual production of the lobster in late 1980s reached 2,000 tons, whilst in 2016 the annual production amounted to 485 tons only. The ministry, in cooperation with a number of establishments, including Sultan Qaboos University, exerted strenuous efforts to strengthen the lobster fishing areas. This step is meant for ensuring the sustainability of lobster wealth. Researchers in the marine biotechnology from Sultan Qaboos University used the latest devices to check lobsters' genetics along the Sultanate coast. The ministry, within the recommendations of scientific and research project, undertakes as part of the strategic plans to expand lobster designated fishing areas, determined lobsters fishing seasons to start from the 1st of March until the end of April. In the Niaba of Al-Ashkhara in the Wilaya of Ja'lan Bani Abu Ali, the ministry, in cooperation with the private sector, established artificial coral life in an area of 1,500 square meters to strengthen this particular category of fish wealth. Activities of the Governorate's Forum for Oman Vision 2040 started in the Wilaya of Salalah in the Governorate of Dhofar. The forum included a number of topics on economy, development and institutional performance, besides introducing visions of this initiative and its goals. The forum aimed at achieving the sustainable development in all areas and improving work systems in various sectors, as well as determining a number of future goals and developing a roadmap for mechanisms of implementation. The meeting was held in Sultan Qaboos Youth Complex for Culture and Entertainment, and it witnessed an active participation from various sectors of the society. The Oman Equestrian Federation concluded its activities and competitions for this season with the obstacles jumping competitions in the Wilaya of Barka, where the participants competed on the shield of the Ministry of Sports Affairs and the Oman Equestrian Federation Cup for various categories. The event witnessed a wide participation from members of the society and the fans of such sports. The competitions and activities were supported by a number of private sector institutions with the aim to preserve such sports as part of the traditional heritage. The conclusion ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al Bakri, Minister of Manpower, who honored the winners at the end. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of dust-raising wind over the desert areas, as well as low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the Governorate of South Sharqiya and Al-Wusta. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Registration for the 7th round of Sultan Qaboos Award for Culture, Arts and Literature opened. The 2nd edition of Government Competency Program is concluded. Conference on Law and Economic and Social Transformations discusses the Sultanate's adherence to international conventions. And prior to the National Special Strategy Project, a number of workshops discuss opportunities and challenges of urban developments in the Sultanate. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin, brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Thank you for joining us, and good night.